So, Michael, when you had to go, you said that obviously urban combat wasn't something that you all were used to because you didn't train for that. When you were coming into these areas, did you ever have to clear some of the houses as you were coming along any of the streets?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So when you got to the cathedral, that was something that you had already.
We'd already developed that skill set. Yeah. And I can remember probably 3 days after the incident at the cathedral, before I got wounded, I was with a fire team and we were looking for snipers back because our resupply and our medevac was all by Jeep or actually by vehicle. Many of the homes in Pue had left their cars, so I had some Marines that were good at hot wiring cars, and I'm not going to get into that, but we used their vehicles to medevac and resupply. And the snipers had slipped in behind us between the resupply point and the medevac point, and they were shooting at these cars. So I went back there with a fire team, and I can remember going past somebody's home, and in the front yard, there was about a 14-year-old girl who I had noticed before when we first went in, and she was laying in her driveway. Beautiful girl in a Catholic schoolgirl uniform, laying in the driveway, in the concrete driveway, with her hair spread out and blood underneath. She'd been shot in the head. Ooh. I came back several days later, and her body was still there, but the pigs had come in from the farms and had chewed her up, eaten her face off and her stomach and chewed the meat off her legs and her limbs. And that was very common in Hue. The dead bodies, the stench in Hue after a few days was terrible. All the dead bodies were there. And we found out the communists had come in the night they invaded the city, because they came in about 2 o'clock in the morning on the night of the 31st of January to the 1st of February, that night. And they had lists of people that they felt would not accept communist dominion. So they were forced out. They were going to go for trial west of the city in the jungle. And those that resisted were summarily shot in their homes or but they knew exactly where they slept in the beds, because many of the people that their servants were communists. So they had lists of people, that had ever spoken against the communists of North Vietnam. We found their bodies. We found 5,000 bodies, of Vietnamese bodies. They had been tied up, rags stuffed in their mouths, clubbed and thrown into an open pit and buried alive. 5,000 bodies. The smell was incredible.
Was this something that happened after?
It happened before we got there.
Okay.
And we heard from somebody that escaped. Their crime was they were reactionary. In other words, they wouldn't accept communism. And this is not only Vietnamese, but Catholic priests, Europeans. I mean, anybody that might not accept the communists. And if there was a question, they killed them.
Not even openly opposed, just not.
If it was determined by people that knew them, that they would not accept it. So it was a terrible thing. I think that was as much a tragedy as the whole Battle of Hue was. These and the communist government claims it was the Marines that did it.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. So war is hell. Inside of all of that, you had this miracle at Hue.
That's right. Let me tell you one other thing that happened. Our chaplain was a Catholic priest, Father Paul Demers. And so when I was down on the bridges, guarding the bridges before Hue, we used to patrol out in the littoral between the highway and the South China Sea, or the lagoon out there by the South China Sea. And one of the villages had a French church there. beautiful French church and stone, and it was really like something you'd see in France. Mm-hmm. So before one of our patrols, I received an intelligence report that there was a notorious communist agent, and he was actually killing pro-South Vietnamese, government guys and stuff that was in the area. And he was dressed up as a Catholic priest, wearing a cassock. So, and the intelligence report said, be sure to watch out for this guy, and if you have an opportunity, take him out. So I had, at the time on this patrol, I happened to have a sniper with me, and I had him close by. And we're patrolling, and we come through the rice paddies and up into this village. And as we approached the French church, out in front of the French church was a Vietnamese man dressed up in a cassock. And I told my sniper, I said, I'm going to walk across and talk to this guy. And if I wave my hand behind my back, I want you to put a bullet in his head. Yes, sir. And so I walk across there and I get up so I can look in his eyes. And I said to him in Latin, I said, Salvete Pater. And his eyes lit up and started speaking to me in Latin. And we conversed back and forth in church Latin, because I had been in the seminary. Yeah. And in the seminary, we were required to be able to speak conversational Latin. Right. And at the table, that's all we spoke for dinner, for meals. So I'm not anymore, but I was fairly fluent in conversational Latin.
And that was your code to know whether this guy
and I was careful not to wave my hand behind my back.
That's right.
So we got to be friends, and Paul Demir's Father Paul got to be friends with this guy. And we would bring him food, we'd bring medicine, whatever he needed for his parish. And then they sent us into Hue, but after that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What did they finally find the person?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
That must have been scary for you, obviously, as a Catholic.
Uh-huh.
To go out there and confront someone.
Oh yeah, who might pull a gun and shoot me.
Exactly.
Well, I had an M16. I'd cut him in half.
Right.
But anyway, it was.
What an amazing story.
Yeah.
What an amazing story, an amazing life. And did you have a particular devotion to the Holy Mother before you went to Vietnam?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I prayed the Rosary all the time.
Okay.
That was my big thing.
So maybe that was
maybe
the Holy Mother kind of reaching out and saying,
Well, my mother told me I was born. My daddy was in the Navy, in the Pacific, fighting the Japanese. And my grandfather, my mother's father, was a naval commander, and he was in charge of a unit down at Norfolk. So when my dad deployed Daddy was a squadron commander he had a squadron of minesweepers. So he was out there sweeping the mines before the Marines invaded. So I went down to live with my grandfather after they got married and Dad deployed. Mom went down to live with her family aboard the base at Norfolk. And that's where I was born. She was pregnant with me. So I was born at the Navy Hospital in Norfolk. And Mom said that when I was born, I was a blue baby. The cord was wrapped around my neck and I was choking to death. So my mother was laying there and she heard the doctor say that. And Mom told me, I said, Blessed Mother, if you save him, he's yours. And she saved me.
Yeah. And then through you, she saved 60 or so other.
Anna said it was 65. I thought it was only about 20 people. 65.
If you would have thrown that grenade in there, that probably, because it
would have killed everybody.
Yeah, it was probably a very condensed place. Yeah. They were in there tight. And then obviously the next thing that you would do, because just of training, you would come in with your M16.
Yeah, or throw another grenade down there. Yeah.
So through her, her intercession, then she had saved the lives of other people.
Oh yeah.
As well,
yeah.
That's an amazing story. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for.
Oh, you're welcome. Those were difficult times, Ramon.
Yeah.
You know, it was just when I got home back to Atlanta, that's when the anti-war movement really was building up. And I can remember being in uniform, being spat upon. I can remember wearing I was really proud of my Marine officer dress blues. And I walked across, I was invited when I got home, invited to go to a cotillion ball at the Piedmont Driving Club. And this was many of the girls that I had known in college and growing up with. So I went and I wore my dress blues. And I can remember walking into the ballroom there at the Piedmont Driving Club, walking across the ballroom, and there was a group of girls I knew, many of whom I had dated when I was at Spring Hill and you know, back here. And they saw me walking across that ballroom floor and turned their backs on me, wouldn't talk to me, because I was in the military, and they had been brainwashed that the military was terrible. Yeah. The war was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Although what you did over there, you saved a lot of people, or innocent people that were.
But I found out later that many of the people behind the anti-war movement were communist agents, exactly, or as one of our former presidents said, community organizers.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
They were
right. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I think it's still kind of going on.
Oh,
in
sure
the
it is.
colleges and the universities and even high schools.
Yeah, patriotism has become a sort of you know, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be like that. Right. You don't want to be patriotic and love our country.
I wonder how many people realize that when you guys went over there, our armed forces went over there to Vietnam, what they were trying to do was to prevent the tyranny of the North Vietnamese, the communists, to inflict themselves upon the South.
Oh, invade. Yeah. They were coming down the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which was the border between Laos and Vietnam.
But then you had some people over here trying to say that, I don't know what they said.
Oh, it was a terrible time. It really split our country apart.
Right.
You know, and I can remember being spat upon when I was in uniform. And the term was a baby killer.
Yeah, they don't understand. They don't understand.
No.
And you know,
war is a horrible thing.
Policy is different than the military that actually goes over there.
That's right.
To
implement the policy.
Implement that policy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's so difficult to separate the two. To understand that, you know, our armed forces suffer things that they have seen, as you had just mentioned.
Right.
And then to add to that, when you got back, having to deal with all of this.
All the humiliation they tried to heap on us.
Unbelievable.
But we knew what we did.
Good.
You know, even to this day, I'm in touch with my Marines.
Good.
You know, and we're a close group, close-knit group.
That's great.
You know, they would lay down their life for me, and I would lay down their life for them, even to this day.
Right. There's a lot of pride.
Oh yeah.
In the Marine.
Pride in the good sense.
That's right, in a good sense. Exactly. And for the country as well.
That's right. A love of country. That's what.
Well, thank you so much, Michael.
You're welcome.
For everything. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention?
Anybody watches this and they know somebody who's a Vietnam veteran, or even in the military, thank them for their service. Exactly. It's important.
That's right.
Thank them for their service. Thank them for their sacrifice.
That's right.